AMI Insurance, they've just brought out this new report that last year nearly 12,000 vehicle theft claims across New Zealand, and the Toyota Aqua accounted for 8% of these claims. Might not sound like a lot, but it maintains its position as the most stolen car for the third consecutive year. Following the Aqua, the Toyota Corolla and the Nissan Teda, I think it is, all quite little cars, represented 6% and 5% of theft claims respectively. The regions with the highest incidence of vehicle theft, Auckland, Canterbury, Waikato, Wellington and the Bay of Plenty. Encouragingly, last year marked the first decline in stolen vehicle claims in 4 years, with a notable 50% reduction in thefts related to ram raids compared to 2023. Well, change of government did that, really, didn't it? And look, whilst this is good news, a recent aggravated robbery at a Whangarei petrol station underscores the connection between stolen vehicles and violent crimes. During the incident, offenders smashed a glass door to gain entry, threatened and assaulted a staff member before stealing items and fleeing in vehicles, one of which was a Toyota Aqua. And given that the Aqua, as we've established, is the most stolen car in New Zealand last year, it's highly likely that the vehicle used in this crime was stolen. Now, there is an alliance between Safer Shops and its spokesperson and MTA head of advocacy is James McDowall. And James joins me. G'day, James.
Hi, James. Leah, sorry.
You're James, I'm Leah.
I don't know why I don't know why I was repeating that.
How are you?
It's Friday.
Well, it's Friday. And look, you were sitting intently listening to me babble on, so you probably, Hey, look, firstly, before we get into this, James, can you tell us a little bit about this alliance between the MTA and the Dairy and Business Owners Group? That's right, isn't it? That's Safer Shops. Mm. Yeah. And
Safer Shops. Yeah.
How'd this come about, and what are the objectives?
Well, it came about because there was a lot of crossover, particularly in this area of aggravated crime. Within MTA, we represent the petrol stations up and down the country, and with the dairy owners representing the dairies and the superettes and other small supermarkets and liquor stores. Essentially, our members are victims of the same crimes, the same criminals. And in terms of the advocacy calls, a lot of them aligned very well. So it just made sense that we come together on this and bring together our people.
It does make sense. Now, last year there was a notable reduction in thefts, 50% actually, related to ram raids compared to the year before, which is great, right? And while they're dropping, you believe every stolen car could potentially be a precursor to a violent crime.
Well, indeed, and with ram raids dropping, and especially in certain areas, especially where I come from in Hamilton, that on the one hand is a good thing, but at the same time it's a result of hardening measures at these locations, more bollards going in, making it a bit more difficult to actually get the car in there in the first place. But at the same time, then you just get slightly different types of crime, so smash and grabs, which are particularly violent, especially if the shop is open and workers are in there, especially when it's a sole charge and there's one worker in there, particularly violent. So, crime goes up and down. It does change. It is a shame that many dairy owners and liquor store owners have had to resort to such hardening measures. Many of the ones I see in Hamilton now these days, you buzz to actually get entry. They're built like prisons. There's a cage, and you think society shouldn't have to be like this.
I was going to say, James, it's a bit of a shame, but I understand it. Like I protect myself as well, but I suppose those days, when I was a kid at least, you could wander in and out of shops and buy the counter almost. Do you think the theft of cars, James, is a priority for police? Because I've heard stories, just through listeners, and I've had a car stolen. I mean, they're busy, they're stretched, we know that. And do they take it as a priority when I go, oh no, my car's been stolen?
I think it does need to be given higher priority. A lot of the crime starts there. Stolen vehicles are used for most of these incidents, particularly the one you just mentioned, in the Aqua, number one stolen car in New Zealand. And other, in previous years it used to be all the Demios,
Yes.
crashing through.
Do we know,
shop
James,
fronts.
your MTA, do you know, I mean, you might not know, is that because they're easy to break into or they're just a tiny car, then there's so many they're not noticed? Do we know why?
I mean, all of the above. They are a small, lightweight car,
Yeah.
but some of these models do have, let's say, not as many anti-theft features as others.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, once you get familiar with stealing one type of car, it's countermeasures, and it just becomes the go-to.